Salvete discipuli, hello again, and welcome to a new week of Latin class. So today we are going to be going over some vocabulary for greetings and some basic conversation. So let's get started. All right, so let me move my face up here so it's not in the way. Okay, greetings and basic conversations. So I've mentioned to you guys before, but Latin's not really a spoken language anymore. Most people who study Latin are studying it to read and translate it. Speaking Latin conversationally is actually pretty difficult because the grammar is so different from English, and so trying to quickly in your head translate from English into Latin to be able to speak the Latin is something pretty tricky. But there are some sort of basic conversational phrases that we can learn and use in our classroom so we get a little bit of the spoken Latin experience. And that's what we're going to do today. So, to start off with, we have salve. So repeat after me, salve. And that's when you guys will say it. And then also, salvete. So we have two forms of this because salve is going to be singular. You use this when you're only talking to one person. And salvete is going to be a plural form that you use when you're talking to multiple people. So Latin likes to distinguish that very specifically. English doesn't do this so much. This, in case you didn't know, guessing from how I greet you at the beginning of these videos and at the beginning of our classes, is how we say hello in Latin. So salve is how you'll say hello to one person. Salvete is how you'll say hello to multiple people. So when I greet you all, I will say salvete discipuli, hello students. And then, now that you know how to say hello back, you will respond with salve magistra or salve magistra Perez, okay? So, salve, hello to one person. Salvete, hello to more than one person. Next, we have the opposite of the last one, vale. And again, I am hoping that you are repeating after me because it does help to practice these, especially since these are conversational pieces. We will be using these in our Zoom lessons this week. Vale, this is our singular form. Valete. That's our plural form. So, as I said, this is the opposite of the last one. This is how we say goodbye. So when I say goodbye to you all, I will say valete discipuli. And then you can respond with vale magistra Perez. Okay, we have a bit of a longer one this time. The last ones were just one word. This is a whole phrase. Quid est nomen tibi? I'm going to say that a little faster so it sounds more conversational. Quid est nomen tibi? This is a question. Any guesses on what this means? This is how we ask, what is your name? Quid est nomen tibi? And in the Latin, we do have the words in a slightly different order than in English. Latin has different rules about word order than English does. So keep that in mind. Nomen is our word for name, right? Quid est nomen tibi? What is your name? Then this one is how we're going to respond to that question. Mihi nomen est. And again, a little bit faster. Mihi nomen est. And then obviously you would fill the ending of that in with your name. So this is how we say, my name is. So if someone were to ask me, quid est nomen tibi? I would respond, mihi nomen est magistra Perez. We're going to practice this in our class this week, so prepare yourselves. All right, we have another question here. Quid agis? Again, more conversationally, quid agis? Another question. This is how we ask, How are you? Sorry I don't have a photo picture for this one. Some of these conversational pieces, it was tricky to find a picture that kind of matched the phrase or the saying. So quid agis is how we ask, how are you? And we're going to learn a couple of responses for that. There's going to be a lot more options for responses that we'll learn eventually when we learn more things like adjectives and such. But for now, we're just going to learn 3 potential ways of responding to this question. So quid agis, how are you? First option, sum bene. Sum bene. This is going to be how we say, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm doing all right, right? Sum bene. I am well, or I am fine. Bene is our Latin word that means good or well. So we'll see some examples of this later. Next option, sum male. Sum male. This is our word that means I'm not well. And it kind of has a bit of flexibility and exactly what the not well means. It could mean I'm feeling tired or sick or I'm upset. Basically, sum male just means I'm not doing great today. I'm not feeling well. I'm upset. I'm sad. I'm just tired. I'm hungry maybe. And we'll get some adjectives to kind of be more specific about why we're not well later on. But for now, this is a more very sort of general way of saying, I'm not great today. Sum male. Male is from our Latin word for bad. If you are familiar with the Disney villain Maleficent, that mal part in her name comes from the Latin word for bad. Sum optime. Sum optime. This is our third option. This is how we say, I am great. I'm feeling fantastic. Things are awesome. I'm doing super great today. So optime is where we get our English word optimist from. An optimist is someone who always looks on the bright side of things. So this means I'm great, right? You want to say it with some enthusiasm. Sum optime, with a big old smile on your face. All right, we have another little saying here. Ignosce mihi. Ignosce mihi. And this is how we're going to say excuse me. Ignosce, a way that helps me remember this is I kind of see this first part and I think of like ignore. So it's kind of a weird way of saying excuse me, like, oh, ignore me, don't mind me. And how we're going to use that in English is to say kind of a way of saying, excuse me, in that sort of a sense. So it can be as like an apology, excuse me, my apologies, or excuse me, like I have a question. So we have a little bit of flexibility with how we use this. Ignosce mihi. Quaiso. Quaiso. This has that AE, that double vowel, so it is a quai, I sound, so quaiso. This is how we're going to say please in Latin. Now, quaiso is literally related to the English word question. This is literally how we say I ask. And so it's not exactly please, but it's kind of the closest equivalent we have in Latin to saying please. Quaiso. Gratias tibi ago. Gratias tibi ago. Or you can shorten this and just say gratias. This, if you know Spanish, this might look a little familiar. This is related to the Spanish word gracias, which is thank you. So gratias tibi ago is the full form. It literally means I give thanks to you. Gratias is the word for thanks. So this is just our way of saying thank you. And you can use the full form or you can just say gratias, kind of like how Spanish says gracias. Libenter. Libenter. This is going to be our way of saying you're welcome in Latin. So this photo amused me. I like Disney. So Libenter is how we're going to say you're welcome. So that is all of our phrases, sort of classroom basic conversation pieces for this week. So go through this video, practice saying the words out loud. We are going to be practicing these in our Zoom meetings this week. If you watch this before the Zoom meeting, great, you'll have a little bit of a head start on some people. But if you don't watch this until after the Zoom meeting, we're going to be practicing this in class too. So we're going to be practicing saying some of these things to each other. I'm going to ask you guys some questions in Latin and you'll practice the responses, and then you can practice asking me and likewise. So that is the plan for this week. Watch this video. I will post the slideshow separately as well. So if you need to take notes a bit more slowly, you can do that. You can also always pause the video on each slide to write down the vocabulary. Make sure you're taking those notes in your Latin notebook. Thank you, and I will see you in class. Take care.